everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to another start to finish layout and also our paper pad party. We were having so much fun in our paper pad party, and I hope you do not get tired of me using paper pads over the summer, but that's what I'm in the mood for, and also two kits. And of course, you know, my trusty little sidekick of my little vending machine, I call it, my little catalog of my paper pads, because I will tell you that being able to see all of my paper pads, this is my 12 by 12 paper pads, in one sitting with just a little bit of a flip and then to go to it in such a quick manner, oh man, I'm telling you, you'll get tired of me saying this. It's a game changer. It really is. Love having my paper pads. I wish everything in my space was this organized. Everything in my life. Can you imagine? What do you have in the pantry? Well, let's just look. What do we have today? Or what do we have in the closet? Oh, just look. But anyways, so let's get cracking today. Let's get with the program. And so today we are going to work with another load prompt from the May 2019 event. And of course, it is Scrapbook Magic, and today it is talking about Magic Hour. So the story prompt was to scrapbook about a small moment or a moment you never want to forget. And for a lot of us, that's basically everything we take a photo of. Yes. And then the technique is to use a golden hour photo. Okay, a golden hour photo, or edit a photo to have a golden glow. So I'm assuming by Alice's prompt of a golden hour, I guess that would mean it's sunrise or sunset. That's how I took it, or something with a glow. So what I decided to do was, I was going through some Disney photos. Now this was from a trip back in 2005. I'm still working on that. And speaking of Disney, I will say that if you are working on Disney trips, you almost have to tell yourself that they'll never get done, and that's okay. Just scrapbook what you can, enjoy the moments, relive the moments when you can, but if you get fixated on, is this album ever going to get done, then you kind of not enjoy it as much. So just let yourself off the hook and say, if they're never done, it doesn't matter. Even if you just scrapbook one memory of that trip, that's better than none. Oh, can I get an amen? Yes. So I pulled out my Disney box, and I showed that in our photo series, so hop over and check out that playlist. And so when I have layouts that are ready to scrap, I mean, so quick, just go through my box. These are all in an envelope. I go through the whole process. It's Disney 2005, Animal Kingdom, and then Lion King. Okay, and so this is number 4 in my Animal Kingdom album setup. But I don't do it that complete on every Disney trip. It's just that this was one of the first ones, and I'm telling you what, we had a great time. Okay, so this is about the Lion King, and so what made me think about this first was the story prompt was a small moment that you never want to forget, and my little one being able to participate in this the Lion King festival, that whole parade where they get the audience, that was such a special, unexpected, magical moment, you know, magic hour. So I just was really tickled about that. And then also too, when Alice said about a golden hour photo or a golden glow, and look at this, does that photo not have a golden glow? I mean, amazing how you can take a load prompt and use your photos to tell your story in a better manner. I just can't say that enough. And the information will be listed below if you are interested in the load event. And there's also videos talking about the load event, so look into that. So I have 15 photos here that I'm going to use on a 2-page layout in this paper pad party today, and I'm going to use all of those. You can see that 12 of them are in, I have 4 small photos on one 4x6. I may trim this down a little bit and give it a matte. It doesn't matter, but most of this work is done for me, so I love that. I printed these years ago, okay, but they're ready to go for me now. Excited. Love that photo. And I'm telling you what, when you have a dark setting, it's hard to get good photos, but I'm really tickled with these, you know, just using a little point and shoot camera. Can't beat that, no. So what I decided to show today, of course, after the paper pad, will be my die cut binder, because I got asked a question about that. So let's get right to the paper pad, because of course I just used this and I flipped through and I got to number 48, which was a We Are Memory Keepers Wildflower collection. Okay, now I got this collection way before I got the paper pad. And of course, this paper pad is an awesome paper pad because not only is it 48 sheets. Now, this was when this came out with We Are Memory Keepers, but the paper pad is American Crafts because, you know, it's now sold. Okay. But this was, they said it's medium weight, but it's really nice. But look at the price on this. I just got this in this time last year, and it was $4.99. Now paper pads at Tuesday Morning are $6.99. So that is a $2 difference just in 1 year. So yes, supplies are going up. But, you know, Tuesday Morning has some great deals. So because of Alice's prompt of the golden hour, and also of all the many colors, I knew that this wildflower, okay, and I'm going to go with this photo here, I think, okay? And when I pick out papers, I just pick one photo and go with it. I mean, or this, either one. It's the same thing. Mood and feel, okay? So basically, I just got a lot of colors, and using this Alice's prompt of the golden hour, I'm thinking golden, you know, mustard yellow. So this made me think of wildflower when I was flipping through that pad. And then also, it's wildflower. You know, we had a wild time, yes, at this Lion King festival. What do they call it? Lion King festival or something. But anyways, so my plan is, as I was looking through this paper pad, because I look at my paper pads all the time. So I think what I'm going to do for my main, because I am going to do a 2-page, is that there was a yellow in here, and this was the one, okay? And so because of the story, you know, the load prompt of the golden, I thought not only was this photo represented as having a glow, but I thought my paper did too. So I'm going to definitely... I use this photo to pull out the background. I'm going to use this photo to pull out everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out these papers and go ahead and get started, because what I will do is I will pick papers from my paper pad and then I put it away because it's too clunky. And, you know, we already deal with such a short space on our desk anyways. Yes, okay. Now let me find this other one and I'll go ahead and rip it out. Okay, and so when I'm looking through a paper pad, this is what I'll do. I have my photo sitting here, and I just keep looking. Is that what I want? Or is that what I want? And I will tell you, just about anything in this paper pad is going to go well. It really, really would. Okay, so that is going to be my main papers. Okay, but because I have so much color, I'm thinking I want a matte for my background. Okay, now I may put those on cardstock yet too. Depends on how heavy my lump and bump gets. This is, look at that. Mood and feel, baby. Mood and feel. That's it right there. I'm going to show you something interesting I'm going to do with that one. So hang on. Oh, yes. Love that. Okay, so I'm looking for an outside matte, and I know it's going to be this one. Because if I take this yellow, and I just put it up in the corner, just like this, and I'm going to give it a thin matte, that'll bring all the colors that I need from my photos in a very quick manner. Okay, because I don't know what for embellishments I'm going to use just yet. So, as long as I have color represented in my papers, I'm good to go. Yes, we don't need to add everything to a page, but it sure is fun to add things to a page. Okay, now what am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for that multicolor. Okay, now even if I wasn't going to use that for a matte, okay, and I think I got to go back here. I will tell you that that multicolor, even the way the design is done, okay, is perfect for this page. Okay. I'm ripping that out here. There it is. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Look at all that color. Look at the stripes and the motifs that's on these. Look at that one too. This paper would go really, really well because it is of geometric shapes. It's represented in the cast members' costumes, and then all the colors. Now this might be a more not a bright color as in the photos, but it doesn't matter. It's all going to work. Okay, so now what am I looking for? I'm going to look for matting my photos. So I have 3 4x6 that has a big mat, and I'm going to use, I saw here, this yellow. Because I'm going to do a yellow on a yellow for my matting of my 4x6. Okay, that's going to be my mat. And then I have these wallets. Well, they're not wallets. They're 4 minis. On 1 4x6, I need to do a mat with them. And guess what I'm going to use for a mat? Because there's a couple papers in here that I probably wouldn't use, and this is one of them. Okay, so when I cut this down a little bit, I'm looking at this color right here. Even though these are homes, I'm going to get that color in, and I love that. I love being able to use a piece of paper that I normally wouldn't use. So I'm hoping I can get all 3 that way, okay? If not, I'll just rip out another piece of paper. Okay, so I think that is all the paper I'm going to need from this wildflower paper pad. So, I mean, just look at the colors. Yes, you can do a lot with this paper pad, but I say that with everything. Okay, so then the only other 2 embellishments I pulled were these two embellishment packs. This is by Memento, the wood veneer stickers, and then this Illustrated Faith puffy crosses, because I need some red. I don't have red in this collection, and I have a lot of red in my photos, so I just pulled in some red, and this was in a quick manner, okay? So I may use them, may not, but I have them here to play with. Okay, so let's go to one more thing. And then I will come back with a finished page using 15 photos during the Lion King. Yes, it was just so fun to, reflect back. Just look at the smile on her face. She was just, oh yes, that was before you hit your 20s and you worry what anybody thinks about you. Isn't that age just a beautiful age? It is. It really, really is. Okay, so we're going to talk about some die cuts here. So I can put that away. Love the load prompts. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my die cut binder here. Okay, because someone asked me if I could do a flip through, and these are die cuts that's just in a notebook binder on a cardstock with a 3-hole punch, and I'll talk about that just in a minute. Well, I'll tell you what, I like some of them right off the bat. But anyways, we're going to talk about this here. I will pause here for a minute. I got to check on my little one, but I will be right back, and we're going to do a little bit of a flip through of this binder of these die cuts, talk a little bit about that. I've gotten some questions, but if you want to skip to the end and look at the finished 2-page spread, that is always an option as well. Okay, so hold on. I will be back. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a flip through of this die cut binder that I have, because I got the question as to why I have a couple different die cut binders and a couple different ways why I do my die cuts, and simply it's because of the amount I have and also to how I use them. So this one is just die cuts that are just adhered to a piece of cardstock on a video listed below, and they're just by collection. So this would be how I bought them in a pack per se. Okay, so there would be Pink Paisley and My Mind's Eye and Fancy Pants, things like that. And so then what makes this system nice is because then I can just open up my 3-ring binder, and if I'm making a kit, or if I'm just working on a couple pages, I can just take this sheet out, put it on my desk, and I'm good to go. And then, of course, I have die cuts in a composition book, because then I take that whole book with me when I travel, but I can't rip those out of the book. So when it comes to supplies, and especially I think die cuts, because we're getting lots and lots of them because we love them, and they make for fast pages, is that you have to consider how you will use them. And in my case, I do not always use the same supply in the same manner. That's why I have paper in different ways, organized in different ways. I have die cuts organized in different ways. I have stickers organized in different ways. So when it comes to your supplies, it doesn't have to be a one-size-fits-all, and everything doesn't have to be in the same manner. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So of course I have my photo here of what I'm going to be thinking about and considering, and of course these feathers and these triangles are perfect, and of course that yellow and the red. And so I'm just going to flip through in a quick manner and see what I come up with about as far as what I want to include in on this page. Now this is something when I'm flipping through, and sometimes when I put them in here, maybe I'll put the pastels together, and I put the, if it's something outdoor or home, I'll put them together, but it's very, very loosely done, because I look through these often, and I look through them quickly. Okay, so see, there's some Valentine's, there's some love, there's some summer, beach. So I would maybe put them in a loose, in this binder, I would put them in a loose manner, what they are, but it's not rocket science as far as how I do that, okay? And I love this process. I was just telling Heather this, that I love this process of when, oh my goodness, this zebra. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, I got distracted. I have to find a place for this zebra. Oh my goodness, you see what I'm saying? You just have things and you just never know where and when you're going to use them. Now this die cut, this is an Amy Tangerine die cut pack. And if I would have just had this with Amy Tangerine, I might not have knew to find this. If I would have just had this just in a pack, it wouldn't have found it. But because I can leaf through all these are just by collection. But you don't have to do it that way. You can break it up. I have some just by Kaisercraft, which is a manufacturer. I have some just by collections, and then I have some just by color. So again, it really, And sometimes I feel sorry for new scrapbookers because they see how people do things and they think that's how they have to do them. No. I've been scrapbooking a long time, and if the best advice I can give you when it comes to organizing your supplies, and just say we're just simply talking about die cuts, do it how you want to do it. And if that means you do it in 3 different ways, then you do it in 3 different ways. If you want to organize them in 3 different containers, that's how you do it, because you have to consider what type of scrapbooker you are. Sometimes I travel with my supplies. Sometimes I'm making kits. Sometimes I want a fast page. I'm all over the board. And I like my supplies a little bit this and a little bit that. Okay, the only thing I would say I like across the board is I like things contained and I like things protected. I would say, but everything else is up for grabs. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited that I found this. I mean, I'm just, you know, and I saw another one. So if I wanted to do 2, oh, that would be fun. But you know, in Animal Kingdom, you're always seeing animals, so maybe I don't want to use both of them. Oh, I just got sidetracked. Oh, so I think I was telling Heather this. That's what I was saying, is that when I do this, when I put these die cuts in this binder, which I just simply use photo mounting squares. That's all this is, okay? And I would just put that on the back of that, okay? And you can saw when I rip that out of the binder, you know, sometimes you'll get a hole, sometimes you get a mark, doesn't matter, because I'm not going to reuse this, okay? But I have refilled this up, and I can talk about that. Oh, no, those are pretty. Look at that. That looks kind of tribal, okay? Now, I think this was the Hawthorne collection, okay? Really, really like those. Explore. I like, oh, yeah, okay. So what I will do, because I'm going to be working on this layout, I don't know which one of these I want. And I'm certainly not going to sit here and rip all of these apart. But this one, I didn't want that whole collection. I just wanted that zebra. Love that. Okay, so let's see what else I can find. Oh, there's some feathers. Okay, now I probably got a little chatty with that, but it doesn't matter. Oh my goodness, this basic gray. Okay, well, I'm going to do that too. Okay, so I have plenty to play with. Okay, so there is no sense in me looking through the rest of this. If I wasn't filming, I wouldn't look, but I got asked if I could show this because this is a die cut binder I have, or ephemera, whatever you want to call it. Back in the day, we called it die cuts, and back in the day, our die cuts did not look like this. No, they were very, very basic, and they did not have any artwork. They were just plain old shapes. Remember that? And remember, you used to go to the scrapbook store, and you would use their machines to make your own die cuts? We've come a long way, baby. Yes. Now, if I would see something else that would stick out at me, those feathers are really pretty. Those are really, really pretty, but I think I have some on that basic gray. So, but if I saw something else that I liked, I would definitely... Oh, I like that movie reel. Like that. I could put something like that on every page. Definitely. And of course, you know, keeping in mind my prompt of magic hour, things like that. But I think I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Yeah, so, yeah, you used to go to the scrapbook store. And you would run them through, and you would spend a couple of hours there just going through that. So I got asked to show this because this one is just by collection. I opened up the pack, stuck one of those mounting squares, and stuck it on a piece of cardstock. This is not copy paper, cardstock. Hole punched it, threw it in a binder, called it good. And like I was saying, I told Heather, I find this process very relaxing. To put on a scrapbooking video, listen to someone chat, listen to someone, whatever they're doing, and this whole process is fun. Whether I'm putting it in a binder, whether I'm putting it in a composition book, it's just all fun. Yes. Okay, so that is that, and of course in the back I have some of these winter, but man, those are perfect for if you ever saw Frozen, which I have never watched that movie. I keep saying I'm going to do that. So that was a quick flip through and a little bit of explaining as to why I have die cuts in 3 different ways, and I say that's 3 times the fun. Absolutely. Okay, so I will be back with this Golden Glow Lion King Festival. I have to think what that, I have to look up what that correct name was. I think it was Parade Festival of the Parade, something like that. Okay, so hold on, I will be back. Okay, I'm back with my finished 2-page layout, and you talk about a struggle. Oh my goodness gravy. It was like putting on a girdle after pancake breakfast. It was just such a struggle for me. No joke. 3 days to do this layout. Now, not 3 full days, but I had to put it away, get it out, put it away. I just couldn't get it to work. I just could not get it to work. And, you know, my plan was to use these pattern papers, and I had a plan, and I didn't really have a sketch, and sometimes I will tell you I run into a problem if I don't have a definitive sketch to get me started. I kind of muddle around a little bit. But you know, I had so many photos, I didn't really need a sketch. But then what I ran into and what I finally figured out was that because my photos, I had so much color in my photos, I had so much activity in my photos, I could not use all those patterns with all the color and all the activity that was in the papers I chose. So what was the problem was is that my photos were competing with these papers. It just wasn't. So I had to scale everything back. And so if you notice, what did I do? I simply used this striped paper, which I really did want to use. I just put it in a band, and it's about 4 inches, and then I put another little skinny band on top, and I did whatever's on the left, I did on the right. Very, very simple. So that's what I had to do. I had to scale back literally on the number of papers I used and the amount of color that was in my papers, because I have so much color in my photos. I had to use less paper and had to use less pattern paper, and so that was the problem. So of course I had used a white embossed piece of basil here, and it really the design in this embossed really adds to the festival. So I'm really glad that I'm happy with the results, but boy, it was a struggle. It really was. And so what I did for these 3 photos, because I have 15 photos on a 2-page spread, but really if you look at it, I only have 3 on this and 3 on this, okay? And I wanted to bring that forth because when you have a lot of photos, this is 15 photos. There's no way you can get 15 photos, especially a 4x6 size, on a 2-page layout. So sometimes you have to resort to the wallets. And so what I did was I put 4 wallets on a 4x6. And so what I did was I cut those down, because if you saw in the previous segment, these 4x6 photos in this little mini grid or collage, whatever you want to call it, is that it had a white border. Well, I needed to trim this down even more because my yellow mat here at the very end, at the end of that cut, was a 4x6. So I had to cut this down, and then I matted everything in white again because I wanted them to pop. And if you have photos that have a dark background or a lot of color, I honestly love how it looks when you pop it, mat it with that white. It really pops the color. So my struggle was real, folks. It really was. And it's such a simple page because my photos really do take center stage, if you will, because that's what I wanted it to be. So over here on the left, I used these Heidi Swapp, what do I want to call them? Acrylic. Yes, acrylic. Is that what we're calling that? Acrylic. Acetate. That's the word. Acetate. I used, this is from the Hawthorne collection, and there was one that said this view, and then there was one that said magical. And so using the load prompt of Magic Hour, I cut that word that said this view. I cut it in half. And so I made my title, This Magical View. So I love how it turned out. And then of course I used some basic gray pieces in the Brad pack. Love how it turned out. And then also too, I had the die cuts in that basic gray Grand Bazaar. I mean, really, isn't that not perfect? Definitely mood and feel, baby. Mood and feel. And so my embellishments are very simple in the amount that I use, but they're so colorful, so I didn't have to use a lot. And I think that's what I was running into. I was trying to do too much on this page, and I didn't have to because my photos was really all I needed, really. And so then down here, you can see that I also matted this collage with that multicolored paper, which was this. I did get that in. I just used the bottom row of those houses because all it does is just bring in some color down here because I got so much color up here. And then of course I matted this again in white and with that yellow. So all I did was I took that original 4x6 print and I cut it down so that the end result would be 4x6, so it would match this photo here on the left. And so I just did that so my design would look a little bit better and it would flow a little bit better. And then of course I made a collage of a great big embellishment cluster. I mean, this is go big or go home. And again, using that zebra I found. Loved that. And then I definitely put these animals on this side of the page because they're both looking in that direction. So I did that on purpose. And then, of course, more basic gray pieces. And there's that Hawthorne piece from Heidi Swapp. So there I took Amy Tangerine with Heidi Swapp and basic gray, put them all together. And this is a Kaisercraft. So, yeah, that's too fun. And then, of course, up here's my journaling, just talks about that. And then I put the year up here, 2005, and a couple little word stickers. And then, of course, some more of those acetate pieces from that basic gray die cut pack. So it is a very simple page, but this simple page took me a while to get it together. And sometimes you have that when you're working on a page, it just isn't coming together, and you put it away and you go do something else, and then you come back and look at it, and sometimes things will click. But it took me 3 days to roll this one out. Yeah, I just couldn't get it together. Of course, it doesn't help when you're watching something either. I have found that about myself. So basically, I love how it turned out using the basic gray, the Heidi Swapp Hawthorne, and then also this paper pad by We Are Memory Keepers called Wildflower. So yeah, I mixed a lot of different manufacturers. So when I was cutting out those paper pads, of course, you know, oh, well, let's talk about that. What am I going to do with this pile of stuff that I had cut and I had planned, and none of it got used? I mean, I did use a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this. So the ones that are still in the 12 by 12 size, they're going to go back in the pad, but the rest of these will just go in my scrap pile, or actually my scrap folder. And then I did have some pieces I had cut because I had been working on a page and I was cutting this and cutting that. I had a lot of these strips left over. So I'll show you what I did with them, because I just didn't want to just throw them away. But these small strips in my scrap folder, really, it doesn't work well for me, so I usually probably just throw them away. But what I did in this case was, since I had so many, is that I went ahead and made a little set of thank you cards using these little strips. And so all I did was just cut them down. I think they're 1/2 inch, and I put 3 to a card, or 3 to a card and overlapped, and just simple, very simple cards. And I used a Technique Tuesday, and you'll notice what that font is. That's by the lovely Allie Edwards. That is her font. This was a set done in 2011 when Technique Tuesday and Allie Edwards used to have a partnership, and I thought they were the best stamps. And in my opinion, they are still the best stamps, I think. I will never get rid of any of them. But she had done this little set. It's called Fabulous by Allie Edwards for Technique Tuesday. And Technique Tuesday has such an awesome quality for their stamps. I mean, look how nice this stamped. This was one run through. That just was a beautiful, beautiful. And I was so sad when they ended that partnership. But those two together, Technique Tuesday, Allie Edwards, that was prime day. That was prime days. Yes. So again, I just made simple thank you cards. I'm doing some card sets for my little one, you know, since she has her own home now, and you know, to get her started with things like that, so she can just put them in her little you know, card box and have them ready to go. Again, they're very simple. They're just strips of paper with a stamped thank you. That's all it is. And of course, I added I took a marker and just made some dots for these cards, because I don't like using a lot of enamel dots on a card, and I'll just be honest and tell you why. Because most cards end up in the trash. I don't want to use my enamel dots and they just go right in the trash. No. Now, there was a couple that I just I added an enamel dot because they were kind of very basic, but I don't try to use a lot of enamel dots on cards. So that's what I did with a lot of these strips. The rest of these are just going to go in the trash because they'll just bog me down. There's no sense keeping them. But yeah, I did make 6 thank you cards. So I thought, well, that was the that's the silver lining in the clouds. Yes, because this was tough. It really was. I don't know why. You know, sometimes you just have that. So I didn't have the words Lion King in the title. And so then I thought, well, you know, I guess I'm going to have to talk about that in the journaling. But I wanted to see the word Lion King represented somewhere before the journaling. So what I simply did was I took some October Afternoon. That's another manufacturer I threw in here. There's little mini market letter stickers, and I just put out Lion King, and I put it right on the top of that basic gray embellishment, and I actually like it because it kind of resembles what that cast member had on his headpiece. So I thought that was fun. Just another little element there. So again, a simple page, but it took me it was a hard page to do. Yes, it was a hard page. I just couldn't get with the program, but I like how it turned out. Even have my journaling on there. And so using the load prompt for Magic Hour, I also took a cue off of that because this was the prompt to do this page, you know, from the load prompt. But then I also used that magic for my title, This Magical View. And then I went into my journaling talking about not only did we have good seats, but then to be surprised that my little one got to participate in this festival. That was a very fun surprise. And that's truly what makes Disney so magical. So I tied all of that in together with the help of the load prompt. And so there will be information listed below if you're interested in the load event. Highly highly recommend that. There will be one coming up in October, and that is for members only. So you do have to be a ScrapHappy member to participate in that. But I foresee that Miss Alice will probably have a little mini load in August. So stay tuned for that, because that is one way to really look into the load event to see if you like it, because it's only for 1 week. It's 7 days. That is a good way to tip your toes into the load event and see if you like it. You know how I feel about it. I love it. It really makes my stories to the next level. Absolutely. So that is how this 2-page went. I hope you enjoyed that. If you would have saw how long this took, yeah. Man, it's something else. I just had to put it away and start on something else. And that's what I did. When I struggled with this, I just took it off my desk and worked on another layout, because this was just stumping me. And it really was. It was because my photos had so much color, I could not have papers that had that same amount of color. I had to scale it back. And you can see I used a minimal amount of paper. So if you have busy photos, busy activity in your photos, sometimes you can get away with just a little amount of pattern paper and color in your design. Absolutely. So that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS, because you never know what we're gonna do. Bye.